Hey, what's up guys? This is Rudy from Pro Civic. In this video, we're going to show you how to install the SiriMoto Phase 2 strut bar. It's a nice and sturdy piece and it's pretty easy to install. It'll add some great performance to your Civic. We're going to be doing this on a 2014 SI project car, but this is basically meant to fit all 9th generation Civics. And you might have seen one of our other install videos where we installed a Megan Racing strut bar. Pretty much the same procedure. But the cool thing about this strut bar is it's kind of a no frills type of design. It's just meant for pure performance. This bar is made out of an extruded aluminum material and it's very stiff, pretty much stiffer than anything we've seen out there for this car. So definitely, leave us any questions or comments down below after you finish watching this video if there's anything else you want to know. But let's go ahead and walk you through the process of installing the SiriMoto Phase 2 strut bar. First thing we're going to want to take off is going to be some of the clips that hold this cowl in place and also the wipers. Pretty straightforward. We're going to start with 3 clips here. There's one here, one in the middle, one at the other end. You could use like a wedge tool, maybe a screwdriver. For this one, you could almost do it by hand. It's really up to you. And to take off the wiper arms, we're simply going to remove this upper trim piece that's kind of like, up here with the cowl. Remove the dust cover for the nut that's holding the wiper arm down. And we're going to use a deep 17mm socket to take off the nut holding the arm. You want to make sure you keep these kind of noted as to which one's on the right hand side or passenger side and which one's on the left. You don't want to mix them up. But overall, it's pretty straightforward. Let's go ahead and start taking this stuff off. Next up, we're going to be removing these 2 end pieces here. There's one on either side. They pretty much just clip in. You want to try prying them up first from the kind of towards the middle of the car, this front portion here. Once you get that undone, there's going to be a blue clip also holding this piece in place. And under here, it's kind of like locked in into the fender. So for this, it's a little bit tricky because you do have the stud for the wiper arm. That kind of gets in the way, but with some patience, you're going to be able to maneuver it. Don't be afraid to kind of force it. If you need to bend it up a little to come up over the stud, definitely that's what you need to do. You'll see me, kind of do this pretty quickly because I've done it quite a few times. But if this is your first time, installing a strut bar, it might be a little bit time consuming, but overall very simple. And now basically all that's holding the cowl in place is the 2 little clips here, one on each side. They're very small clips and you could use like a needle nose or a trim removal tool to help you out with that. But once you have those off, it's pretty much ready to come off. You've already disconnected your feed line for the washer nozzles. Everything's pretty much ready to go. So just pull this off and we're gonna gain access to the upper strut mount area. Now that we have access to these bolts here, we're going to go ahead and start removing them. There's going to be 3 per side, and it's pretty simple. Just you want to take something with some leverage, maybe a breaker bar, to break these loose and then completely remove them. Now you want to make sure the car is on the ground. That way all the suspension pressure is kind of still up against the chassis. If you have this up in the air, it's possible that the struts are going to droop down, maybe even fall on you. So again, make sure you have the wheel supported or have the vehicle on the ground. We're pretty much ready to start installing the strut bar, but I wanted to show you how to orient the bar itself. Now, looking at it, it doesn't seem like there's a wrong way to install this, but there is. These ends here, They need to be kind of pointed up when you have this down on a flat surface. You could try, you know, placing this down on the ground or maybe on a table like this, but these are going to be pointed up to the point where you can't press down on them to make them flat with the surface. This is going to be kind of interfering, and that's the way it's going to be installed. If you try to install it the other way, it's just not going to work. It won't even bolt onto the strut mount at all. So that's the way it's going to go. And the other thing is basically the easiest way to install this is to come in from the passenger side, kind of at an angle or sideways. Dropping it in straight from the front or from the driver's side might be possible. I've definitely tried a few different ways, and just coming in from the passenger side is really the best way to do it. And we're ready to install the strut bar. We remove the cowl, we remove all the bolts on either side of the upper strut mounts, and we're pretty much ready to drop this thing in. Now, I did want to talk to you a bit about the washers that are included. There's a total of 4 washers, 2 per side. But the thing is, the nut side, where you're going to install this with a bolt facing back on the nut side, it's very hard to get your hands in there, and it's very difficult to put both the washer and the nut in place. So in my experience, I've just used the nut, and it works just fine. The only downside is it might gouge up the paint a little bit more, but it's something you can't even see, and it'll hold down everything properly. There's no issues of it working loose or anything like that. So just wanted to give you that heads up. If you want to install the washer on both sides, and go for it. It's just something that's pretty difficult to do just because of the tight space in here. But let's go ahead and drop this thing in, and should be a pretty straightforward process. Now we have the strut bar on here. We're pretty much at the halfway point. We can start tightening everything back down, starting with the upper mount nuts. Those get torqued down to about 40 foot-pounds, I believe. And then we're going to tighten up the bolts for the strut mount themselves last. Those use an 8mm hex key here on the bolt. And on the back side where you have the nut located, you have a 14mm wrench that you can use. One thing to point out is on these mounts, to differentiate themselves, basically you're going to want this kind of flatter, straighter edge towards the back of the car. This edge with the kink on it, on the mount, that's going to be towards the front. So that'll kind of tell you which one goes on what side. Beyond that, we're just going to put everything else on, put all the covers, the clips, and anything we might have disconnected, the wiper fluid hose line, and anything else we might have taken off. And that'll complete our install of the SiriMoto Phase 2 strut bar. I hope after watching this video you guys could knock this out in a quick 30 minutes or less. It's a very simple project, very easy to do and install, and it'll add some good handling characteristics to your vehicle. Definitely check out our website procivic.com, where you could purchase this fine item and many others, and definitely subscribe to our channel for more installs, more projects, more cool stuff like that. If you have any questions about this video, any particular questions about the install, or any comments or suggestions really, leave them down below in the comments section. And again, my name is Rudy from Pro Civic. I'll catch you next time.